recruiting aspect a little bit here. There's again, I've been in the Facebook feeds, the comments on our pages as well. We had some great comments, a lot of commentary. See, we got roasted a little bit on our names, our pronunciation of the names, which we agree we do need to get better at, and we will. But the talk is where with recruiting. Is it important to land these 4 and 5 stars? I've seen this kind of be 50-50 split with Florida Gator fans, and I want to get your take too as an FSU fan, Steve, on where do you stand, right? It's like, how important is it? We talked last week on landing like a Jaden Rashada and a 5-star Peter Wood, I believe, the D lineman, on how important it is to land these guys on the simple fact of marketing aspect, right? Like, hey, we landed a 5-star, or for Georgia Atlanta Arch, right? It allows for more people to funnel in. And I feel like the old school Gator fans, which I've been seeing a lot of come out and comment, which I really appreciate, is they don't care. Right? Because it's all hoopla. It's all speculation. It's all, look, I don't care if they're 4, 6, whatever, because they bring up the examples of the Kyle Trask, right? The 3-star guys, the guys that kind of came out of nowhere. I can't think of his name right now. The Cheetah in Miami. Who's the fast-star receiver? I'm drawing a blank here. Just came from Kansas City. Tyreek Hill. I believe he was a 3-star. Cooper Kupp was a 2 or 3-star, right? Coming out of college. And obviously we see where they're at. Super talented. So the argument is it's not about the stars, it's about the development. And you can have a 4 or 5-star guy come in, just like Dan did, right, and not be able to develop them. I believe it was Texas. They had a top 5 class in 18 and 19 and a top 10 class in 2020. We all know where Texas has been. Irrelevant. So there's 2 parts, and I totally agree. And again, a lot of people are weighing on the recruiting aspect for Billy because that's all we have right now. We haven't seen him coach and we haven't seen the team play underneath Billy. So I get where it's coming from. But for us to say it doesn't matter, and look, I mentioned this last week. I think I used to be a big component of like, who cares? It's just recruiting, doesn't matter. But then I actually did a lot of research. I went and looked over the last 5 to 6 years to see like, well, let me see like these top 10 guys. Did they actually do anything? Right? Like, were they relevant? Did they go to the NFL? A lot of them followed suit. There was probably, I would say, maybe 2 out of top 25. Maybe 2 to 5 that, you never really heard about or you didn't see anymore. But I would say 70 to 80% of them did well in college and went on to the NFL and were an NFL talent. So to say it doesn't matter, it's an ignorant statement to me to a certain extent. But I do agree with the fact that you have to still develop them. Right, you can have a 4 or 5 guy come in just like Dan did, and we had, I think it was like 9 or 10, maybe even more double-digit penalties against Kentucky. That's it doesn't matter if you're a 17-star or a 1-star, right? Like that's discipline, that's coaching, and so if that's not there, the stars don't matter, and that part I do agree with. So there's 2 parts to this. Everyone's kind of panicking on, hey, we're not getting these guys like the Rashada. AJ Harris left, which was a huge miss, which a lot of Gator fans are really upset with right now because AJ was huge on Florida. He was heavy on Florida. And look, there's a part that we're missing out on too, is maybe Billy went and talked with him, talked with the family, wasn't feeling it. I don't know. I'm speculating here. But there's a part where we can't get, as Florida fans, and this is going to be a little bit of a hate on Florida, and a lot of Gator fans hate on one another, is we get too rowdy way too quickly. We scare coaches out way too fast. I believe in my heart truly that we scared Muschamp out way too quickly. We got way too aggressive, way too fast, and didn't allow things to develop. Things take time, okay? And we have to be patient. That is the number one thing. We have to be able to believe in the process and allow somebody to do it. And B is a big component of that. Trust the process, right? Sixers fans hated Embiid, and they haven't won yet, and I get that. But they have come full circle from when he was saying that. So allow things to run its course. And until we allow things to run its course, we can't really say anything. We can't hate on Billy. We can't hate on the recruiting process because we haven't allowed it to develop. That was a little bit of a soapbox, Steve, and I apologize. But if you have a thought, if you have a thought,
my gosh.
Sorry.
Look, nobody's running Billy out. Nobody's saying that his process doesn't work. Nobody's saying that his recruiting strategy doesn't work. But there was a great coach that one time said, it's less about the X's and O's as more as it is about the Jimmies and the Joes. And that was Bobby Bowden. And his mindset was, even if you don't have the best player at the position at that spot, if you've got two more behind him, you'll be just fine. And that was his mindset on how he built a roster. He just became the recruiting machine that he was. And in retrospect, I mean, even if you've got a good coach who comes in with a little bit less talent than the team that they're playing, that coach has to outcoach the other guy tenfold in order to overcome it, right? So you look at the Alabamas, you look at the Clemsons, you look at, for the love of goodness, Georgia and whatever the heck they've put together down there or up there. Like if you start looking, Ohio State, USC, when they were winning time and time and time again, it was the Jimmies and the Joes. It wasn't the X's and the O's. You just give the dang ball to Reggie, and he's going to figure it out, right? You're going to give the ball to pick a random Alabama running back, and he's just going to knock your block off, right? You're going to get the ball to anybody who can make plays because they are better. They are better players. Now, where it comes into play here is if you've got a bunch of really good players and you can't win it and you can't stay competitive with the teams that you're going up against, like if an Ohio State can't stay competitive with like a Michigan, or if they start losing games to, heaven forbid, like an Indiana or something of that nature, that's when it starts to become a problem. But at the end of the day, in college football, the team with the best talent typically wins. And unless you're a bad coach, you can win with the players you're putting on the field, especially with how deep some of these rosters are. Whereas the one man down, the next man up, one man down, the next man up, and that's just where you get that old school. We don't rebuild, we reload. That's where the Miamis came in from the 80s, FSU, Florida, back when Stoops was around, and every year the defense was just so freaking good. You never got a chance to breathe. I get where you're saying and where you're going with the fact that, sometimes you just need to have the coaching staff there and to be able to build the talent and build with what you got. But my gosh, man, if the team that you're going up against, it already has the talent, and then you got to out coach them to win, that's a huge ask to stay consistent.
Oh, before you go, make sure you guys check out this video right here. It's brand spanking new. It's shiny. It's beautiful. It's gonna be a great one. I promise you. Make sure you like that video too, and also too, don't forget to subscribe somewhere in this vicinity right here.